As a person of faith, I completely understand how easy it is to confuse being faithful with being trapped, especially in a toxic relationship. For many years, lots of people, including myself, have stayed in toxic relationships with narcissistic people simply because of a misunderstanding of what it means to be faithful and long-suffering. If this is you, then you need this message because your faith depends on it. Let's talk. My name is Kevin. This is The Royal We. Before I jump right in, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box right below this video, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. Also, don't forget The Royal We has a private membership available for you where you get daily support from me and a growing community of people from all over the world. I do have a workout program for you to get you back into shape. There's weekly fellowship and so much more, all in the privacy of a members-only app. So head on down to the description box right below this video and check out the resources that are available for you. Now, let's get into this rich and intense topic of what it means to be faithful and long-suffering, but not with narcissistic and toxic people. Now, I want to start by letting you know something, that the concept of faithfulness and long-suffering are biblical concepts, which means they are derived from the scriptures. And for those of you who are people of faith, myself included, if we are not taught how to interpret these scriptures the proper way, well, we can allow these things to cause us to feel as though it's some kind of a life purpose to endure ongoing abuse in this life. Like it's some kind of rite of passage. Oh, we're people of faith, so we need to remain as captives and we need to remain in toxic, abusive relationships. Otherwise, we don't have the glory in standing next to Christ. It's a gross, disgusting misinterpretation of what the Bible is actually trying to teach us about long-suffering and faithfulness. I'm going to share with you just some of these scriptures so we can have a cross-reference here so you know what I'm talking about. James 1:12 says, "Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him." Case in point, if you're not careful with that exact verse, you can take it as though you have to stay in a toxic situation where you are tested, and boy, don't narcissistically abusive people love to test you over and over and over again. But you're going to stay because you believe you're being faithful and you're being long-suffering so that you can get your crown. I could go on here. Matthew 5:10-12 said, "Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness." Once again, subconsciously, people of faith can stay in toxic relationships, taking insult and hit after hit by these narcissistic, tyrant people in their life, counting it as righteousness. I could go on and on here. Romans 8:18, "I consider that our present sufferings are not comparable to the glory that will be revealed in us." How many people stay in toxic relationships with narcissistic husbands, a narcissistic wife, or dealing with tyrant family members with this understanding here? Yes, I'm suffering now, but one day I'm going to be able to count it as a blessing. What a shame. What a disgusting misinterpretation of these. Philippians 1:29, "For it has been granted to you on behalf of Christ, not only to believe in him, but also to suffer for him." Wow. It's no wonder people of faith struggle to get out of toxic relationships where they are abused. Because there's a part, an unconscious part, because of the misinterpretation of these scriptures that keeps people in this place of being tested, of being imprisoned, and it robs you of your peace and your freedom. I remember, just from my own personal story, when I was involved in some big churches in California. I'm not going to say their names, but I was on the worship team. I was a part of the counseling teams, the lay counselors is what they call them. And I remember I was going to them saying, I'm struggling with these toxic, narcissistic in-laws that I was dealing with. I didn't want to be around them anymore. Everything inside of me said, Kevin, they're just testing you over and over, and it's getting hostile and violent. They don't like you. They don't want you around. And I would go to the church and say, listen, I can't be around these people. And I was getting these scriptures put right back in my face in the wrong way. I was being told, Kevin, no, you've got to stay there. You got to love them because this is what it is to be a Christian. You have to endure. You might be the only love that they see, which now we all know is a bunch of baloney. How many of you believe that you're the only love a narcissistic person in your life has seen? No. These people have seen love, and they crap all over it every time it comes across their path. You are not the person to show them love. They have to want to see love, and if they're abusive towards you, they don't want to see love. They don't care about your love. Your love doesn't matter, nor does your perseverance, nor does your faithfulness, nor does your long-suffering. They get great pleasure out of that. It finally snapped in me, and I had to separate myself from that church because that church got to the point where they actually said this to me. One pastor said, Kevin, I know you're upset with the way they're treating you, but look at what Jesus went through. He had his beard pulled. He was stabbed in the side. He was hung on a cross, and he loved them. That was my breaking point, folks. It's where I walked away from the church, and I said, something's off here because yes, I believe that Jesus went through all of this for me, but nowhere does it tell me that I'm supposed to have my beard pulled and be stabbed in the side and walk into hostile, aggressive, violent places so I can also share in that glory with Jesus. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, me trying to walk through those steps is actually robbing the purpose of Jesus. So I had to separate from that. And a part of this message is you understanding this as well. You see, if we're not careful, we can allow modern Western world churchianity to convince us that staying in toxic relationships, enduring ongoing abuses of various kinds, being faithful and long-suffering to those who are evil in your life, we could be convinced that that's somehow noble, that we're going to walk out of that and be crowned. The truth is that that's not at all what the scripture is trying to tell us. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that you need to endure and put up with narcissistic people and their behavior. Nowhere in the Bible does it even suggest that your faithfulness and your long-suffering is only you staying imprisoned and tested over and over and over again by people who hate you. That's not what's being implied here at all. Let's get to the truth. My friends, faithfulness is not about staying true to your narcissistic family members or your toxic, abusive, oppressive husband or your wife or the nasty people you work with. That is not what your faithfulness and long-suffering is for. Faithfulness is about being true to your values, your beliefs, and your standards. I'm going to say this again. Faithfulness and long-suffering is about staying true to your values, your beliefs, and your standards, despite what's going on in your life, despite being in the trenches of chaos with toxic family, or a narcissistic husband, or a narcissistic wife. It's about not losing yourself in that situation. It's not about staying in the situation. It's not about staying with the narcissistic family. It's just about not losing yourself within the family. But here's the catch. The longer you think being faithful and being long-suffering means you have to stay, the more you're at risk of losing yourself. That's right. It's inevitable. Because those people and their nasty evilness will push and test and get you to fold, get you to buckle. They are relentless. Narcissists are relentless at watching you crumble. The devil wants you to fold. The devil wants you to break. So you cannot stay in a relationship with the devil and call it for the purpose of faithfulness and long-suffering while they're trying to break you and they get you to that point of brokenness. You see, being faithful and long-suffering means that while you're there, not that you have to be there forever, but while you're there, that you don't allow that to happen. You don't lose yourself. But that only works once you realize that you don't have to stay, that the long suffering isn't to stay and serve them. Faithfulness isn't about staying and serving the devil. Faithfulness is about keeping yourself whole as God has given you in this purpose long enough to escape and to get out and to stop serving the devil, stop serving the narcissist, stop showing up, and stop staying in the prison of your toxic narcissistic family members. My friends, once you realize this, everything will change for you. You will stop serving narcissistic, evil people in your life. You will stop long suffering for them. You will stop being faithful to them. You'll start looking for the exit. You'll look for the open door within the prison that you have been stuck in because you've been trying to be faithful and long suffering. And here's the truth for many of you, that prison door has been opened. It's been open for a long time. This is the worst part, is that a lot of you have willingly stayed in this place of suffering, although the prison door has been busted open a long time ago. All you have to do is walk out. And my hope for you is that you walk out while you are still intact, while you are still faithful to the one who created you, while you are still faithful to your beliefs, values, and standards, the way in which God has made you. My hope is that you have not lost these things by staying in the toxic relationship, trying to endure, keeping yourself imprisoned with these narcissistic people, long suffering for them. Instead, now get out that open door. And if you have not yet got out that open door, then allow me. Here's my hand. Take it. Let's get out the door of this prison that you have been long suffering in as you've been serving evil. Because there's no reward in that. You are not going to get a crown for enduring your abusive wife. You will not be crowned for being faithful to an evil, toxic family. There's no crown in that for you. Your crown only exists as you maintain who you are. Despite having these experiences, your crown is in not losing yourself. Your beliefs, your values, your standards. That's what you're going to be crowned for. It's time to exit the door. Get away from these narcissistic people. There'll be plenty of tests out there. There are going to be plenty of tests in this life that are going to challenge your beliefs, your values, and your standards. You don't need to make sure you stay in a toxic relationship or marriage or friendship or family to continually test this. I promise you, there are tests along the way. And being faithful sometimes means leaving the toxic relationship, walking away from your family, walking away from your narcissistic abusive husband, walking away from your abusive wife. Sometimes the most long-suffering thing you will experience is walking away from them, not staying in it. You know what you're going to get staying in it. You're going to serve them. You're going to be serving evil. But when you walk away, that's actually being faithful. Being faithful to your faith. It's being long-suffering as you step out into the unknown. It takes more faithfulness to leave a toxic situation than it does to stay. And when you are faithful to leave a toxic relationship, you're actually applying faithfulness in the right place. You're applying faithfulness and long-suffering to that promise, that hope of a better future, as opposed to applying your faithfulness and your long-suffering to serving toxic narcissistic bullies in your life. Listen, I'm going to say this one more time. The door to your freedom is wide open. It's wide open right now. I've already offered my hand. Just take my hand and let's go. You do not need to stay faithful in an abusive relationship any longer. You don't need to be long-suffering so that you can serve evil and somehow call it a rewarding experience at some point, because it's never going to be. This is your opportunity. It's time to break free. It's time to step into your calling. It's time to step into your purpose. It's time to face what being faithful truly is. Faithful to your faith. faithful to your calling in life, faithful to your purpose, staying faithful to your beliefs, your values, and your standards. The relationship you're in right now is doing nothing but threatening these things on a constant basis, and you'll get nowhere. Not only will you not get anywhere by staying in these toxic situations with nasty family members or a nasty marriage, but there will be no reward for it because you're squandering every gift that you've been given. You've been given gifts of love. You've been given gifts of enjoyment. You've been given gifts of joy. You've been given gifts of so many good things to do in this world. You're squandering it away by staying in a situation that you're just being tested and tested over and over and over again. You're subjecting yourself to this, and you're serving the wrong masters out of faithfulness and long-suffering. Stop serving the wrong masters. Your family are not your masters. Your husband's not your master. Your wife is not your master. If you believe you have one master, then it's time to be faithful and long-suffering for that master. I promise you, the reward will be better than anything you'll ever get by serving your oppressive family members, your abusive husband, wife. There's nothing there for you. If you're struggling with this right now, I'll go deeper with you. Head on down to the description box, schedule some one-on-one time with me. I'd love to chat with you. All right, if you're brand new to the Royal We, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you don't miss any future Royal We content. I will be uploading videos every single week. Like this video, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the things that I've just discussed. Check out one of these videos recommended by the YouTube algorithm before you go. I believe it's going to be helpful for you. I'll be back, everybody. Check out the private membership program. Bye.